Hey folks, welcome back. On the eve of episode 3 of season 2 of House of the Dragon, just wanted to give my quick thoughts on what I have felt about the season so far. It has been so refreshing to have something that you anticipate quality, and then it comes to fruition in this way with season 2. It has just been a great juxtaposition to all the other crap we are normally exposed to, and yes, as of late, Acolyte, I am talking about you. This show, just a sharp contrast when I go from something from the Acolyte and then I watch this show, that everything just from the set designs, costumes, actors, writing, everything is just far superior. It's just so wild. It's like I'm actually watching a real show. People that know how to make a TV show created something for me to enjoy. It's fantastic. It was great at the start of episode 1 to be back at Winterfell. You have the music, the sets, we're at the wall. We see a member of House Stark. It was just great nostalgia. It brought me back to better times of Game of Thrones. It also brought back some not so great memories from season 8, which we don't have to get into right now, but it's just been very refreshing. This whole series so far has done a great job of bringing this franchise back for a lot of people that were very disappointed with how the original Game of Thrones series ended. We also see in this opening moment Jace, Rhaenyra's eldest son, really kind of coming into his own, kind of showing his leadership here, and really kind of being the strong support for his mother who's going through a tough time. And he's trying to keep it together, but he just lost his brother as well. He finds out that information here. And you can kind of see how he's trying to uphold his duty, try to act like this man that he needs to be, but he also has this vulnerable moment here and then later on with his mother when he realizes what's happened to his brother. And that's something we're going to see more of this season, I would assume, as the children have now aged up to the point where they're kind of more prominent and they're taking more leadership roles in this. So it was initially a letdown in episode 1, though, I will say, because you assumed the way it ended last season that Rhaenyra was going to immediately be out for vengeance, but she kind of takes her time. She's grieving, kind of playing the long game here, and it was actually a little bit disappointing initially, but it's kind of been interesting to see how this is kind of slowly unfolded. Maybe not the way everyone would have liked, but I appreciate kind of these more character moments, the fact that we're taking our time here and not kind of rushing to the immediate payoffs. You have Rhaenyra taking over now this leadership role and trying to be this ruler that her father wanted her to be. And so you're going to have her torn between that and everything that's terrible that's happening to her. And it's going to be interesting to see how that evolves over time. And Daemon, even though he's bloodthirsty, tyrannical, would not be a great king at all. We just can't get enough. Matt Smith, obviously, great portrayal, and the character's so well written. He just controls the room. He unfortunately makes a huge mistake. He takes Rhaenyra's words a little too seriously when she comes back grieving after finally seeing what's left of her son and his dragon, that she wants Aemon Targaryen. So what does he do? He goes to King's Landing to pay off Blood and Cheese. And those two, as it probably wasn't too much of a surprise, those two completely botch the situation and take a son for sure, but obviously it's Aegon's heir and not Aemond. And the entire time you're watching that, it was great. Both episodes and just very good high notes. This, from some of the people that have read the books, have said it's not quite as good, but it was still pretty tense for me. You kind of on the edge of your seat because you're like, these two are going to screw this up somehow. I don't know how this is going to go. And then you kind of see how they end up just deciding on the boy. And then you can kind of hear just kind of those noises as they're slowly cutting his head off as the mother fearfully is running away. It's just terrifying scene and typical of what you kind of see in Westeros. And that whole situation obviously really sets off Aegon, who, by the way, the actor is phenomenal in this season so far. He does a great job of really stealing the scenes that he is in and embodying this character and all the different emotions and adding a humor, right? Some levity there that we didn't get before. And it really adds a different dynamic to him than we saw. Because in season 1, he's just kind of this person that's kind of shirking the duty, doesn't want the throne. Here, he's almost embodying that role a little bit more. And he kind of enjoys the fact that there are people that love him, even superficially. You kind of getting some praise from the common folk, and he loves that, loves being wanted. And he basically substitutes that for the lack of affection that he got from either of his parents. None of them loved him. Viserys couldn't care less about him, definitely cared more about Rhaenyra. And then Alicent, terrible mother, cares nothing for her children, which is an ironic juxtaposition to Rhaenyra, who loves her kids and is a great mother and who's raising them to actually be quality young men as opposed to Alicent's children that feel abandoned. We have Aemond, who, terrible mistake at the end, feels regret for it, and he's trying to find a way to make a play to make himself feel more needed, impactful, and he's obviously got Aegon's favor because of swordsmanship, because he has the largest dragon, and so he really kind of latches onto that in episode 1. And then in episode 2, we kind of see more of that regretful side. He hasn't been as good as he was at the end of season 1, though. We kind of have a moment in season 2 where he's back in that brothel that he went to at the end of season 1 when he's looking for his brother. And we have that whore that he had slept with prior. Obviously dealing with some mommy issues here, lack of affection from Alicent. But the problem is, I don't really like the dialogue here. A little too on the nose for him. I like in season 1 how we kind of already showed regret, and we kind of did things in more subtle ways by looks characters had and kind of the reaction to things. So hopefully he's able to have some better moments as we continue on, because in season 1 definitely became an interesting character as we got closer to the end of the season. We also obviously have the return of both Otto and Alicent. Actors are doing a great job, especially Otto in episode 2, his argument with Aegon. Fantastic stuff. And then episode 2 ends, again, with Kristen Cole being a complete jerk. He's such a terrible person. He leads one of the twins to go over to Dragonstone to kill the other, and they have a fight to the death right in front of Rhaenyra. And then after the one that's loyal to Rhaenyra kills a brother, he then falls on his sword. Just very well choreographed fight, very brutal, and a very moving scene as we end episode 2. And there it is, just some of my quick thoughts for episodes 1 and 2 of House of the Dragon season 2. Really like the way the show has been going so far. I have some nitpicks, have some issues, but mostly positive, and I'm very excited to see what happens next, and looking forward to episode 3. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.